The story of the missing tomb begins, as you might expect, with the death of the man himself. In the summer of 1227, during his final military campaign in what is now China, Genghis Khan died. To this day, historians still debate the cause. Some ancient sources claim he died from a fever. The Secret History of the Mongols, the oldest surviving work about his life, suggests it was complications from a fall off his horse months earlier. Other, more dramatic accounts likely spread by his enemies tell stories of assassination or fatal battle wounds. But while the cause of his death is hazy, his final command was crystal clear. In keeping with the traditions of his people, Genghis Khan demanded to be buried in absolute secrecy. He didn't want a grand mausoleum like the pharaohs of Egypt or the emperors of China. He wanted to return to the earth, unmarked. He's said to have declared, "Let my body die, but let my nation live." For him, the empire's future was what mattered, not a memorial to his corpse. This one powerful wish set in motion one of the most elaborate and ruthless cover-ups in human history. He commanded the largest land empire in history, a territory stretching from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea, built on conquest, innovation, and pure terror. His name was Genghis Khan, a title meaning universal ruler. And he didn't just conquer the world, he redrew the map. But for all the lands he ruled and cities he leveled, his greatest secret remains hidden, his final resting place. For nearly 800 years, a veil of deadly legends and sacred beliefs has guarded his tomb. The man who was once the most powerful person on the planet simply vanished after his death. He left behind a mystery that has stumped everyone from 13th century chroniclers to 21st century scientists. So how have we never found it? What extreme measures were taken to ensure his grave would stay a secret? And why has even our most advanced technology failed to find it? This isn't just a story about a missing tomb. It's a story about the power of a dying wish and the clash between ancient traditions and modern curiosity. And it asks a critical question. Are some secrets meant to stay buried forever? The bloody funeral procession. What happened next has become the stuff of dark legend. After his death, a fiercely loyal army began the long journey to carry his body from the battlefield back to his homeland in Mongolia. To enforce the Khan's last wish, the funeral escort was given a terrifying order: kill anyone and anything that sees you. According to the most famous accounts, including those written down by Marco Polo decades later, the soldiers slaughtered every person and animal that crossed their path. A farmer in his field, a merchant with his caravan, a child playing by the road. Their only crime was being in the wrong place at the wrong time. The goal was total secrecy, to erase any living memory of the funeral train's route. This bloody cordon of silence was meant to last for centuries. But the legend says the bloodshed didn't stop there. Once the secret burial site was reached and the tomb was ready, the slaves and craftsmen who built it were all executed. Their deaths ensured no one could ever share the tomb's design or location. And then, in a final, brutal act, the soldiers who had carried out all those killings were themselves executed by a final guard. It was a pyramid of death, designed so that the secret died with the very last man. To hide the site itself, the stories claim 1,000 horses were ridden over the grave, trampling the earth until it was completely flat and blended in with the surrounding steppe. Some legends even say a river was diverted to flow over the tomb, hiding it under a permanent watery seal. Now, how much of this is true? These accounts are almost certainly embellished. Historians debate their accuracy, but whether they are literal fact or not, they highlight the extreme, almost fanatical devotion of Genghis Khan's followers. The stories themselves became a powerful warning that the tomb's sanctity was protected by a legacy of death. They sent a clear message through the ages. This ground is forbidden, and its secret was paid for in blood. The great taboo and the spirit of the steppe. The violent secrecy of the funeral was just the first layer of protection. The second, and maybe more powerful guardian of the tomb, is the deep cultural and spiritual reverence for Genghis Khan in Mongolia. This isn't just about respecting a dying wish. It's about a profound belief that the tomb must remain undisturbed. The most accepted location for the burial is somewhere in the vast Khenti Mountains of northeastern Mongolia, where Genghis Khan was born. Many sources point to a specific sacred mountain, Urkhan Khaldan. According to the secret history of the Mongols, a young Genghis once hid on this mountain to escape his enemies. He pledged to honor it for the rest of his life and vowed to return there in death. After his burial, his successors declared the entire region the Korig, or the Great Taboo. This huge area, about the size of a small country, was sealed off from everyone. An elite tribe of warriors known as the Darkod were tasked with guarding these ancestral lands. For centuries, any unauthorized person who trespassed in the Great Taboo faced a death sentence. This ban created a pristine, untouched wilderness, a time capsule preserving the entire landscape of the Mongol Empire's birth. This reverence is tied to Mongolian spiritual traditions like Tengrism, which holds a deep connection between humanity and nature. Unlike cultures that build huge tombs to project power, traditional Mongol beliefs favored simple, unmarked burials that let the body return to the earth. Genghis Khan was a man of the steppe, and an anonymous burial was perfectly in line with his people's worldview. Even today, this belief has immense power. Many Mongolians see the tomb as a sacred site, a place of spiritual energy that protects the nation. They believe that if the tomb is opened, it won't bring glory, but a curse that could unleash disaster on the world. This belief was so strong that even the Soviets took it seriously. During their control, they restricted access to the area and suppressed the worship of Genghis Khan, fearing the site would become a powerful symbol of Mongolian nationalism. To Mongolians, Genghis Khan isn't just a conqueror. He's the father of their nation. The mystery of his tomb is a part of his legacy, and searching for it is seen by many as the ultimate act of disrespect. The modern hunt, technology versus the wild. For centuries, deadly legends and sacred taboos were enough to keep the tomb hidden. But now, a new kind of explorer has joined the hunt, armed not with swords, but with satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, and artificial intelligence. The last 100 years have seen numerous expeditions, each one hoping technology could finally solve the 800-year-old mystery. The biggest challenge, though, hasn't changed: the overwhelming scale of the search area. Mongolia is one of the largest and least populated countries on Earth. The Khenti Mountains are a vast, rugged, and roadless wilderness. Looking for a single unmarked grave here isn't just like looking for a needle in a haystack. It's like looking for a specific grain of sand on an endless beach. Still, modern science has given it a real shot. One of the biggest efforts was the Valley of the Khans project, led by Dr. Albert Lin of UC San Diego and backed by National Geographic. Understanding the cultural sensitivity, this project was revolutionary because it was completely non-invasive. No digging, no disrupting sacred ground. Instead, the team used high-tech tools to scan the landscape from above and below. They used high-resolution satellite imagery to look for telltale signs of human activity patterns that might hint at an ancient structure. They used ground-penetrating radar, GPR, and magnetometers, which can spot anomalies under the soil, like buried walls or objects, without ever touching it. In a brilliant move, the project even turned to crowdsourcing. They created an online platform where thousands of volunteers from around the world helped scan satellite images, using the power of the human eye to spot things a computer might miss. This massive effort identified dozens of previously unknown archaeological features. Other expeditions have tried similar things. A French team used drones in 2015 to survey Burkhan Khaldan and found a large, man-made mound on its summit, though its link to Genghis Khan is unproven. Another project used AI to analyze remote sensing data, flagging hundreds of potential sites. These efforts have created a tantalizing map of possibilities, making it feel like we're on the verge of finally pulling back the curtain. The unbreachable walls, why the search has failed. Despite all this incredible technology, Genghis Khan's tomb is as elusive as ever. The mystery holds, not because of one single thing, but because of a perfect storm of geography, archaeology, and culture that modern science just can't seem to beat. First, there's the geography. The Khenti Mountains aren't just huge, they're unforgiving. With few roads and a brutal climate, just getting to potential search sites is a massive challenge. Even with aerial imaging, the dense forests and rocky terrain make detection incredibly difficult, especially since some Mongol noble tombs have been found over 65 feet deep. The very methods used to hide the tomb 800 years ago, a remote location and no surface markers, are still its best defense. Second, the archaeological challenge. What, exactly, are they even looking for? The popular image of a treasure-filled vault, like King Tut's, is probably a fantasy. Given his wish for a humble burial and Mongol traditions, his grave might just be a simple pit with his body and a few personal items. A site like that would be almost impossible to tell apart from natural ground with GPR. After 800 years of soil and plants covering it, the site could be completely invisible. But the biggest barrier of all is still the cultural one. The deep-seated belief that the tomb should not be found is a powerful force in Mongolia. Any attempt to dig, especially by foreign teams, is met with suspicion and often public opposition. This isn't just a superstition. It's a core part of their national identity. Researchers who get permission to work there have to be incredibly discreet, often keeping their findings secret to respect local customs and prevent looting. Even if GPR definitively located a structure that looked exactly like a royal Mongol tomb, the next step excavation is almost unthinkable. The Mongolian government would face enormous public pressure to leave it alone. No government wants to be the one to desecrate the grave of its nation's founder and risk unleashing the legendary curse so many people believe in. That wall of cultural reverence is, in many ways, more impenetrable than any mountain range. Competing theories and whispers from afar. While most theories point to Bergen-Belsen in Mongolia, the total lack of evidence has allowed other ideas to flourish. One of the main alternative theories places the tomb in the Ordos region of Inner Mongolia, in modern-day China. This area is home to the Genghis Khan Mausoleum, a large complex of shrines where rituals honoring him have been performed for centuries. But this is a cenotaph, a memorial that doesn't actually contain his body. The artifacts it holds are real, but he isn't there. Still, some researchers and local traditions argue his real tomb might be nearby, suggesting it would have been too difficult to transport his body all the way back to the Khenti Mountains in the summer heat. This adds a political layer to the mystery, as finding the tomb in China would be a massive cultural event for both nations. Other, more speculative theories point elsewhere entirely. Some have suggested the Altai Mountains, which border Mongolia, China, Russia, and Kazakhstan, based on different interpretations of historical texts. Russian explorers have also launched their own expeditions based on their analyses. Each theory is built on fragments of evidence, plausible arguments, and a whole lot of hope. These competing claims really just show how little concrete information we have. The secrecy was so successful that today, all anyone has are legends, contradictory old texts, and the vast, silent landscape of Central Asia. It's a puzzle with too many missing pieces. And until definitive physical proof is found, these theories are just that, guesses. The tomb of Genghis Khan is still a mystery not because of a single lock, but because of a perfect combination of history, culture, and geography. It's protected by a defense system that was designed 800 years ago, but is still incredibly effective today. First was the plan, a brutal funeral procession to wipe the tomb's location from human memory. Then came the camouflage, 1,000 horses trampling the earth, leaving no trace on the endless steppe. This was reinforced by the geography itself, a remote, unforgiving wilderness that swallows all secrets. But the most powerful protection is human. For centuries, the sacred duty of the Korig guards kept the world away. Today, that duty has passed to the Mongolian people, whose deep spiritual reverence for their founder acts as the final, unbreachable wall. For many, this mystery isn't a problem to solve, but a legacy to honor. That empty space on the map where his tomb should be is, in its own way, a monument to his power, a final command that's been obeyed for nearly a millennium. Even if our technology could pinpoint the exact location, the question remains, should we? Should our modern desire for discovery override a man's last wish and a nation's sacred belief? Perhaps the greatest treasure isn't the gold that might lie buried in the Mongolian soil, but the enduring power of the mystery itself. What do you think? Should the tomb of Genghis Khan be found, or should his final wish for secrecy be respected forever? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy diving into history's greatest unsolved mysteries, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching.